Last time, we left the Tang Dynasty as a confident, open empire cracking under its own weight. Frontier generals were no longer just defenders. They had become local rulers. The once glorious Chang'an faded in the smoke of war. The collapse of these tenra brought not a new order, but 50 years of fragmentation. 5 short-lived dynasties in the north, more than 10 rival kingdoms in the south. Historians call this the Wu Dai Shiguo. Thrones were seized through mutiny. Generals toppled emperors. Soldiers crowned new rulers. No one believed a dynasty could last. But amid the exhaustion and chaos, a new idea was forming. Perhaps the problem was not which emperor held the throne, but the rules of the game itself. In Chinese history, there is a dynasty whose economy was arguably the most advanced in the world, whose technology led the globe, whose cities outshone anything in contemporary Europe. Yet it almost never won an important war against a foreign enemy. Not because it was incapable, because it made a choice. This is Song. The last of the Wu Dai kingdoms, the Hozhou, had a rare and capable ruler, Chiron, a man with the ambition to reunify China. In just a few years, he reclaimed vast stretches of lost territory, but fate did not give him time. In 959, Chiron died, leaving behind a 7-year-old child emperor, and the man who held command of the Imperial Guard, the empire's most elite military force, was Chiron's most trusted general, Zhao Kuanyin, a child emperor, a general holding all the real power. In the logic of the Wubi ending was practically written. In 960, Zhao Kuanyin's officers staged a mutiny at Chenchao, draping the yellow robe over his shoulders and declaring him emperor. The scene was virtually identical to every coup of the previous 50 years. But what came next was entirely different. Zhao Kuanyin did not continue relying on generals. This decision did not come from nowhere. He himself had taken the throne through a coup. And over the previous 5 decades, he had watched the same cycle without exception. Every emperor installed by generals, every emperor toppled by the next one. The loop never broke. He understood with perfect clarity. If the rules did not change, someone would do the same to him. His goal was not to be a stronger warlord, it was to end the age of warlords altogether. So came the famous banquet, releasing military power over a cup of wine. He persuaded his top generals to surrender their commands in exchange for wealth and comfortable retirement. Not a bloody purge, an institutional choice. From that moment, the Song set out on a path unprecedented in Chinese history, deliberately shifting the empire's core from military force to civilian governance. Before the Song, every great dynasty, Qin, Han, Tang, had defined its power through military expansion. The Song said no. True stability should not depend on generals. It should depend on institutions. The Song chose prosperity over force and systems over military glory. The imperial examination was dramatically expanded. Under the Tang, the exam system still carried heavy aristocratic bias. Few spots, with elite families holding natural advantages. The Song changed this fundamentally. Admissions surged, and more critically, the sealed name system examination papers were anonymized so that no examiner could identify who had written them. Regardless of birth, a strong enough paper could open the door to power. A farmer's child entering government through scholarship was no longer legend in the Song. It was routine. Military officers were deliberately diminished in status. A popular saying captured the new social ethos. Good iron is not made into nails. Good men do not become soldiers. The central government concentrated fiscal, military, and personnel authority entirely in its own hands. Local officials rotated frequently, unable to build power bases. Military operations required complex civilian approval. The warlordism of the late Tang was made structurally impossible. The Song turned the empire into a precision administrative machine, and that machine produced an explosion of economy and culture. Kaifeng, the Song capital in the early 11th century, presented a scene utterly different from Tang Dynasty. Chang'an, not an imperial capital of foreign envoys and cavalry, but a thoroughly commercialized city. Along both banks of the Banhe, shops stood side by side. Tea houses and taverns operated day and night. Cargo ships crowded the docks. Night markets ran until the early hours. Streets bustled with storytellers, acrobats, medicine sellers, and fortune tellers. 1,000 years later, the painter this world in one of China's most famous scrolls, along the river during the Qingming festival. It is not merely a painting, it is the cross-section of an era. The world's first government-issued banknote, the jiaozi, was born in Sichuan. Printing made books affordable, turning knowledge from a privilege into a public good. Gunpowder evolved from an alchemist's byproduct into a weapon. The compass began guiding ships at sea. Many historians believe the Song economy was the largest in the world at that time. The Song proved something. An empire could achieve extraordinary prosperity without relying on war, but that choice came at a cost. As the central government steadily weakened its generals, the empire's frontiers grew fragile. The Khitan established the Lao in the north. The Tangut founded Shixi in the northwest. These states fielded powerful cavalry, while Song armies, constrained by layers of civilian oversight, grew sluggish and increasingly ineffective. The Song signed the Treaty of Chanyuan with the Lao, paying annual tribute in exchange for border peace. A culturally and economically advanced empire buying its security with money, almost unprecedented in Chinese history. But the tribute was negligible relative to the Song treasury. Compared to the cost of waging war, it was an extraordinarily good deal. The Song treasury did not pay because it was weak. It paid because it had done the math. Peace was cheaper than war. A rational choice. But rational choices do not always survive an irrational world. In 1127, disaster struck, and half of it was self-inflicted. The Yenyun Shiluzhou, the strategic northern gateway ceded to the Khitan during the Wu Dari period, had been a century-old wound for the Song. Every emperor dreamed of reclaiming it. None succeeded. In the final years of the northern Songklo saw the Lao weakening and the Jin-Ti rising in the far north. He believed the moment had finally come. Recovering the Yenyun would make him the greatest ruler in Song history. So he allied with the Jin to jointly destroy the Lao. But the Song army's performance revealed a brutal truth. It could not defeat even a declining Lao. The Jin saw the reality, wealthy but defenseless. After the Yao fell, Jin's cavalry turned south. Jin forces smashed through the capital Kaifeng. Two emperors, Song Huizong and Song Tinzong, along with thousands of royals and officials, were captured and marched north. This was the Jingkang incident. Two emperors taken prisoner by a foreign power, perhaps the deepest humiliation in all of Chinese history. An empire so rich, so civilized, yet unable to protect its own rulers. This collision was not unique to China. Throughout human history, different ways of life have produced different civilizations, and when they meet, conflict is nearly inevitable. Nomadic cavalry sweeping into agrarian heartlands and European ships sailing toward distant continents centuries later were driven by the same fundamental force, the collision between different civilizations, differing only in direction. The Song court fled south, establishing its capital at Lin'an. History calls this the Southern Song court. Remarkably, this broken empire did not collapse. The Southern Song lost the vast northern territories, but gained something unexpected: the permanent shift of China's economic center of gravity to the south. Agriculture, manufacturing, and commerce south of the Changjiang exploded. Quanzhou became one of the world's largest ports, with merchant ships sailing to Southeast Asia, India, the Arabian Peninsula, and even the East African coast. Porcelain, silk, and tea flowed from here to the world. Before the Song, China's economic heart had always been in the northern Huanghe Valley. From the southern, the south became the engine of the Chinese economy, a pattern that continues to this day. The southern Song endured over 150 years. Its economy surpassed the northern Song. Its culture grew more refined. Its maritime trade network spanned half the globe. An empire retreating militarily, yet growing more sophisticated in social structure and economic scale. Institutions still functioned, cities still thrived. A civilization without military dominance sustained itself for another century and a half on the strength of its systems and commerce alone. Until the 13th century, when Mongol cavalry swept across the entire Eurasian continent. This empire, built on institutions and civilian governance, could not withstand the most powerful military machine in human history. In 1279, the southern Song fell. But what the Song left behind reaches far deeper than the territory it lost. If the Ta represented imperial confidence and expansion, the Song represented introspection and institutionalization. Beginning with the Song, Chinese civilization underwent a permanent shift, from outward expansion to inward construction, from defining strength through force to defining civilization through order. This transformation shaped the fundamental character of Chinese society for nearly 1,000 years. The Song proved that an empire can create one of the most prosperous societies in human history without relying on war. But it left behind a question still debated today. When a civilization chooses prosperity and order but gives up force, can it ultimately protect itself? What comes next is no longer a dynasty from the Central Plains, but a world empire born on the steppe. That is the Yuan dynasty.